Hi guys, this is my last assignment for AEP 867, so it's my discussion 6 reflection on the instructional design process. So I followed the same model that we've been using for reflection, so I broke it down into three main areas. The first one is to describe the learning event, so describe the instructional design process, but also this course. Here are my notes. I think this course and also just looking at what instructional design is and that process made me really think about how to design my units and lessons more effectively and efficiently. I think it also helped me realize what areas of learning that I should prioritize. And then I also wanted to put in there, if you guys have looked at any of my work throughout this course, I really liked the 9 events of instruction, not necessarily for every single lesson, but for my units. And so I plan on using that more in my other lessons, my other units, because I really thought that that was very helpful and beneficial to me to help me focus on what I thought was important and what I thought I should prioritize as far as designing my lessons and units. I also think that in reflection of this course and also the design process that I kind of knew everything, if that makes sense, that I was taught or that we went over, but it helped recenter me because now in year 7, it's like, yeah, I've learned about all this, but having a specific like instructional design process, I hadn't really thought about it that, you know, like to that extent. So I thought it helped recenter me, and it was also just very helpful reminders for some of the things. Analyze where I've been as far as the instructional design process is year 1, didn't do any of it. Okay, I'll be completely honest. I did not know how to design lessons or units when I first started teaching. So I put it was a process, or it is still a process for me. I think from there, I kind of saw the benefits of scaffolding remediation. I've had certain classes, like co-taught classes, where accommodations and modifications have been super important. And so I've had to put that into my design process or my design thinking, I guess, when I design units and lessons. I also have a clientele of students that all of these things are very beneficial for. And so through having them year after year with so many of our kids below grade level and needing those accommodations and modifications and even remediation based off of that, um, yeah, anyway, so that's where I kind of went from that based on my experience. I now do playlists, which are self-directed, like resources that my kids get. Everything's like pre-fronted, everything's at their level or is relatively about their level. If it's not at their level, then there's accommodations or modifications made. For example, if there's a text that they have to read, then the audio is provided for it if it's above their grade level of reading, so that they can still hear that and they can still be getting the like 7th grade level reading passage, but they don't have to read it because it's above a level that they can actually read by themselves. This is really great for me when I think about instructional design and the process, just because it allows me to do a lot of things that I do think are important to prioritize. For example, the enrichment activities that I can offer my higher level students. I think it also allows me to level everything and meet people where they're at. And then it also, like for the kids that really struggle with certain things or need some very foundational skills, thinking of my 1st and 2nd grade readers that are in my 7th grade ELA classroom, it also allows me to pull them into small groups and really work with them while everybody else is working on stuff that they can do individually. And now, like looking at where I've been, kind of now where I'm at is just having that structured plan for units and lessons and really being purposeful about the design process. Where I plan to go, one, I want to keep the same mindset. So I want to be more purposeful and want to be the most effective that I can be, and using the design process seems like the way to go, honestly. So I would like to keep that up. Again, I would like to be more purposeful. I also think that going this point on, I would like to build on everything. So in the 9 events of instruction, it talks about how important it is to build um, on that background knowledge or recall the information they already know. So see those connections and then plan lessons so that they build on each other throughout the year, not just necessarily within a unit, but throughout the year as well. Same thing with background knowledge and chunking and scaffolding. This was something that was common in a lot of the model types that we looked at. And so I think it's important to have those as a focus going forward as well. Um, I would like to get to the point for 5 and 6 to look at each lesson differently. And then 6 is redesign all of my lessons with this process in mind. So really like use what I have already, but make it much more purposeful and fit that structure, and make sure I'm hitting all of those areas that need to be prioritized. Going off of the questions that we were asked to kind of answer, I'll just go through this really quickly. I don't think that I was doing task analysis or needs assessment, so going forward, I think I'm actually going to do that. The course design, I think that I'm going to look at this instructional design model or the 9 events of instruction when planning that. Same with delivery. And then lastly, technology, implementation, and assessment. I think this class and just looking at that process has really made me think about certain areas like technology and assessment and how I can better use them and more appropriately use them so they're the most effective within my class. And then lastly, going off of what ISTE standards I had to use to do this reflection or reflect within this class and for this assignment, I just put the educator 2.4 collaborator. I just put the whole thing on there, honestly, because I believe that this is what we had to do in this course. And so it's also what you have to do when you reflect. But I think that I dedicated time to collaborate with colleagues and students to improve practice, discover, and share resources and ideas, and solve problems. And I believe that I was able to do that during this course. So that's all I have for you for this reflection, but I did want to say thank you to you guys for being such a great community and to be that community that I can truly collaborate with. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your year and happy holidays.